Hey guys, it's Alex, and I wanted to throw my hat in the ring for a build video. I don't know how often I'm going to do this, but this build's pretty fun, and I thought I should show everybody. It's a mobbing build for Harlowe that focuses on heavy cryo damage and keeping your cooldown for stasis as short as possible. Mobbing feels good, it's fun, it's alright in UVH5, it's relatively easy to use, and I have an incredible time mobbing with it. However, I must be honest, the build does fall a bit short for bossing as it uses Harlowe's blue tree a lot. The lack of shock makes shields a little bit of a pain to use, and some of the gear takes a bit to get set up for, but other than that, I think it is an incredibly fun build. There are a couple things within this build that are the true bread and butter of this build. Like, for instance, the first one you want to grab is 2 coolant for schoolant. For whenever you're dealing cryo damage, you gain increased action skill cooldown rate. And then within the same tree, you get heat sink. Whenever Harlowe freezes an enemy, she gains action skill cooldown rate. And then the last notable one that I feel like I should explain in the blue tree is keep ice on that. All cryo damage Harlowe deals gains lifesteal. If Harlowe's health is full, she gains overshield instead. So part of this build is also trying to keep your overshield up as high as possible for the damage bonus that you get from creative overflow in the green tree. And then speaking of the green tree, you're also going to get mains hum, so you can increase your maximum overshield capacity by 50%. And then confirmative reality also gives you another action skill cooldown for shooting enemies. This one is specifically for shooting entangled enemies. And then realistically, you're just gonna grab some cryo stuff. Heat death in the green tree, periodic table flip in the blue tree, cryodynamics. I grabbed precision engineering by throwing 1 in the negative entropy skill just to get a 30% increase to crit damage. That helps a bit too. And then I like to go for the cold storage augment and then the cold plunge because it's just a bunch of stacking cryo damage for your energy shield, or overshield, sorry. And then for weapons, I use the rainbow vomit with shock, cryo, incendiary. Just the shock pellet mainly helps with shields a bit. And then obviously you can get a spread shot Jacob shotgun. That's pretty much good with anybody. And if you're struggling with some enemies, you can just pop that and it'll clear anything. However, I don't know what other cryo weapons or weapons that would be good on this build in general anyway. So if you've got any ideas, I'd be interested in hearing them. For the rep kit, I was rocking a Jacob's rep kit with amp and elemental affinity just to get a double increase in damage on that one. And then the grenade I was also kind of iffy on because I don't know what would be good for the setup of this, but I just run a cryo jelly. This just helps build overshield even more. You can run a shock jelly just for shield stripping if you feel the need to. And then originally I was running the skeptic class mod, which is good for this because when you slam, you get the radiation and cryo darts. However, I found I was able to do way more consistent damage with the reactor class mod because if you're keeping your stasis cooldown short as possible, you're constantly slamming any enemies anyway. So this means you're going to get that, what is it, 20% bonus at full stacks? You're going to have that consistently. Although, with the Skeptic class mod, you can get a point into stun lock, and that kind of helps keep enemies more crowd controlled if that's what you're interested in. I think it's kind of a pick and choose situation, whichever one you prefer. And then the fireworks shield. This thing, I did a little video on it and how the resistance changes. The resistance changes what kind of element your rockets are. So if you get a cryo resist fireworks shield, it fires cryo rockets. Not only does this do really good damage to mobs, it also is another element to add to your overshield bonus. So you're literally just going for maintaining your overshield as long as possible. I put on a Jacob's enhancement because you're running a Jacob shotgun. And then if you get one to roll with either cryo damage, shotgun damage, gun damage, element damage, I think any of those really help. And then for specializations, I went with Riddle You This for stacking gun damage. I am a gun for the increase to skill damage, a honed mind for crit chance on action skill, and then contamination for even more elemental chance. Now, don't get me wrong, I find this build very fun, but it is not a bossing build whatsoever. I mean, with the right setup, max overshield, an amp going, and a spread shot Jacob shotgun, you can still do quite a bit of damage. However, I like to keep this build around mobbing specifically. If you are looking for a bossing build, I started using one from Termex. I'm going to link that down in the description because it is also an incredible build, and it's fantastic for bossing if that's what you're looking for. Other than that, I don't know how many builds I'm really going to make because this shit's stressful. You try to figure out what all you have to do and what goes well together. Whatever. It's a fun build. Give it a try. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I can improve on, honestly. And I think that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I will be doing more Borderlands content for many days to come. So like, subscribe, and you can catch these live here on YouTube and over on Twitch at twitch.tv/JaceRangerAlex. Have a really good day. Thank you for watching.